Here's Johnny.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Here is a bulletin. Here is a bulletin.
What is it? Stand by, please. Stand by, please.
In Dallas, Texas.
It appears as though something has happened in the motorcade route.
Sorry about that. Hey, guys. Hope everyone's having a good day. Hey, Roy, good morning to you. Just waiting on the others to get here. I guess running a little bit behind. Hoping to dig into some fun stuff today. What's everybody else been up to? Roy, what's going on? I got to get my other windows open because I'm a little bit of a mess today, I guess. Let's see here. Get this going, turn that off, and that ready. Ooh, yeah, I'm really disoriented today. Sorry about it. Sorry about that. Hey, Jason, how are you? I hope everybody is doing well. Staying in lots of trouble, hopefully. Let's see here. Ooh. Wow, we are professionals. So, well, not a lot going on, I guess. It's been kind of crazy for me. I've been getting ready for trade show season, so it's my real job, and it keeps me kind of busy. It's one of those things, so it's kind of hard to stay on top of streaming, so I'm hoping to do much better here shortly. See, Roy says, saw a video of a deathbed confession of an FBI agent who claimed he was the shooter on the grassy knoll. You'll have to send me that, Roy. I'd like to see that. Trying to stay safe from Gingras. That's apparently a lot of people are just trying to taunt him. So I'm surprised somebody's trying to stay out of his way. Oh, brother, what a mess. I saw the one posting, I guess, of a guy confessing from prison. I'd seen that a long time ago. I actually have that on VHS. It's with all my dad's stuff. So yeah, I had seen that one, and that's a pretty wild one, I have to admit. Should be interesting. Should be interesting to see what people think about that. I think there's only one story in there that I was kind of like, either he's read about that story or he was really there. So it'd be interesting to see what other people, how they take it. Because I think the only people I've ever heard talk about that are my dad. There was a meeting at a breakfast place. So it'd be interesting. Well, anyway, just to see what people's thoughts are. Let's see. I'd be heckling Gingras if they didn't. Oh, I know. It was such a downer. When I'm not going to be bothered to talk to any of you people. Yeah, that's typical. That's what crybabies do, or in this case, crybolly. Yeah. So I was hoping these guys would get here. I guess they're running a little bit late. Let me just check on them. So pretty interesting news, denied for Laura and Gingras. That was good. And exciting, these copyright claims, though. That's fascinating. just what sort of temper tantrum was that? But, seems like a really weird game to play, but she's full of surprises, isn't she? I mean, kind of predictable, but also surprising. Anywho, well, I guess we're going to talk a little bit about some fascinating information, or maybe I find it fascinating anyway, that I came across. Let me see if I can get this to share. Uh-oh. Link. Let's go back here and present. So this is fun for me. So this is a map that I kind of put together we're going to talk about some of these elements on this map. So I guess people know Butler is here. And so this is where the rally happened. And, it's about an hour north of where Crooks resides, which is here in Bethel Park. I'll try to zoom into that. So this is, just sort of the distance he had to travel. Another thing I put on the map was the range that he would go to train. So it's, it's not super close, but, really it's not that far when you, kind of zoom out a little bit, you can kind of see. So this is Pittsburgh. So there's, these are all suburban areas around where this stuff, transpired, I guess. Oh, here's everybody. Looks like Mark is here.
I'm here.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Yep,
Is
just
Roy
kind
on
of.
there?
I'm sorry.
Is Roy there?
He has not showed up yet.
I think he's probably having to re-get the app or something, because that's what it made me do this time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You can go in through a browser too. Sometimes that's easier. I don't know. Well, I'm just going over this. I kind of plotted some of the items that we were going to talk about today. So just to kind of get some bearings on. Now I lost it. Huh. Okay, here it is. So this is a map of the area. So we've got Pittsburgh, we have Bethel Park here, which is where Crook's family is from, and then here's Butler. So just trying to get some logistics on some interesting things that we do know versus speculation on all the things that we don't know. And I come across a few things, and Butler, Butler's not all that exciting of a place to really discuss. I mean, it's population 13,500, so it's small place. It has been the industrial center since the early 1800s, to the birthplace of the Bantam Jeep in 1941. Oil refining routes to the present day. It's Marcellus shale boom. From railroad car manufacturing in the past to the headquarters of the Westinghouse nuclear power today. So Butler County is the industrial hub of the area, but just a little sleepy little town. But we all know people, going after nuclear, that's kind of a different audience now, isn't it?
Okay. Roy's, it says it shows I'm in the studio.
Oh, okay. Let me just get back over there. Oh, there he is. Hello, Roy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Let's see here.
Are we live and ready to roll here?
I'm sorry?
Are you already live?
I am live, yeah.
Oh, you look live.
I am live.
All right.
Absolutely. So, a little bit more. Butler is 45 minutes from Pittsburgh. Let's see, zoom out here. I lost my spot. Oh, there we are. Yeah, that's Butler. 45 minutes from Pittsburgh, which is home to 3 government agencies. We'll zoom in here so you can kind of get a lay of the land on it. We've got FBI, Department of Homeland Security, And then over here, we have the Secret Service. So pretty tightly knit together as far as I can tell. I've never been to Pittsburgh, so I'm not sure if it seems like these are like city blocks. I mean, so I'm assuming they're pretty close.
Yeah.
Another interesting little tidbit I ran across was, let's see. Here we go. We have West Oakland, which was the most recent known location of Kenan Hooper. It was right here. So you've got these agencies and Kenan here. And then just over here, we have Maxwell Urich. These are the last known locations for those guys.
Wow.
Another interesting thing about Maxwell and Kenan or Shay, well, I don't, coming with what we found or what we found yesterday, they're both formerly from Maricopa County, Arizona. So two boys that like to cause some trouble from Arizona, both in Pennsylvania. This close to some alphabet soup. I don't know. I think it's interesting.
That is interesting. Do we have any more information about the van?
Okay, the only information that I've come across, and I can skip down to that if you'd like. Let's see. Going through my notes. Give me a second. Okay. So there were two vehicles that have been attributed to crooks. However, the Maxwell Urich is said to have had a white van. And though the police impound would not release any information about the van, the towing company did. And they said that the van was registered to Arizona, not Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. The other vehicle was the Hyundai Sonata, which was said to have explosives in the trunk. So I'm not sure where the disconnect is as to whose vehicle is whose.
Well, surely they should be releasing who it was registered to by now.
You would have
Who
thought.
who the plate says it was registered to. I mean, come on, they got the vehicle and they got the, where's the information?
That's my biggest question is, we're how many weeks? We're a month out.
Yes.
And they could at least be knocking people off the list, saying this is cleared, that's cleared, this is, a misdirection or what have you. So that's what I find still kind of fascinating is that there's still this confusion amongst people that are following it still about the van.
Yeah. Well, this fits in generally to one of the things that Roy and I were talking about earlier, which was, this, and we talked about this in the first show, was that this is an opportunity in real time to at least show an active investigation and disclosure and clarity about what's happening. And we certainly haven't seen that level of disclosure. In fact, what we're seeing is, and not saying it's always easy, because nowadays there are more sources of information, for good and bad, that, can portray little parts of things. But Roy, you might want to talk about this a little bit, but you were telling us about what you viewed as what should have happened at a minimum. I'm not talking about the security lapses. I'm talking about what the government folks, the official investigators, should have been detailing and keeping the public informed to in real time to have any credibility.
Yes. One of the problems is when you look at this is how quickly they have covered up everything, or let's put it another way, perhaps. They have not released what you would have expected them to release in a timely manner. You mentioned who owns what. Probably a private investigator could have found that and published that by now. They haven't released what kind of explosives. Obviously, there are stamps of people who actually make the bombs or where they were manufactured. Same thing with the detonators. And then all of the information that we don't have. For example, in anyone's hometown that has a police force, if there was an officer involved shooting, the very first thing that would have happened is that officer would have been put on administrative duties, desk duty, for the investigation. So far as we know, none of the Secret Service people who were intimately involved in this are on any kind of administrative duty, and they haven't actually released the names of them. Now, they've gotten out, but it hasn't been through an actual release. So everything you would expect from an above-board investigation, we have not seen. So there must be a reason behind that. Why aren't they answering questions? If you saw much of the interim director Rowe, he was a basket case. He was unprepared. He was belligerent. He was ignorant and all-knowing at the same time. He gave the entire Secret Service a black eye because it looks like they don't know what's going on. And so they haven't actually gone through their protocol. As I mentioned to you before, there's a 324-page document for emergency management for Butler County alone. It's extraordinarily detailed. But one of the things it mentions is there has to be a central command. Now, you go all the way back to the invasion of Iraq, okay? What did we find out? The military on the first day, as it unfolds before the world, is what? They go after command and control. Because if you wipe out command and control, it doesn't matter what kind of assets you have. They can be the greatest assets in the world, technology, manpower, everything else. If they can't communicate, then there's no way to know anything. And what are we hearing from every single law enforcement agent? No communication, no person in charge, no central command. Violates all the protocols.
I'm trying to pull up your picture here. Roy, give me a second. Oops. Share screen. Okay, so this is the guidelines you
Yes.
sent me yesterday.
Right. You'll notice what I highlighted down there. This talks about unity of command, the concept by which each person within an organization reports to one and only one designated purpose. The purpose of unity command is to ensure unity of effort under one responsible commander for every objective. Now, it doesn't take a genius to figure out if you have a multi-jurisdictional cooperation, doesn't matter whether you have 2 or 20, if there's more than one person directly in charge, you're going to have things that just simply end up missing. You can't work anything that way, much less like this, because their primary responsibility was protection. And under protection, the very first area is prevention. How do we prevent an occurrence? So they would have picked out, and apparently they did poorly by the maps that have been released, the possible locations, possible distance. Under the map that I've seen, they didn't even have the building where crooks supposedly shot from in their original perimeter of protection. There was no one in the highest point. There was no one across the street, which would have been directly in front of the former president in 550-yard range. So they weren't even taking care of the minimum things. Well, after prevention is the point of mitigation. And that means if something happens, we have to have a plan. If there's a shooter, we do this. If there are multiple shooters, we do this. If there is a bomb threat, we do this. If it's some sort of substance of gas or powder, we do this. You didn't see any cohesive effort either prior to, because of all the reports of the shooter, nothing happened. Then after the shots are actually fired, what do you see? No organization, no cooperation. It's like they had no plan, or if they did, it was a plan for another place and another time.
Right. And okay, and I've got some points to go on, leading up to that I'd like to cover, but also since we're kind of focusing on the vehicles and, what was happening there. He was found with a detonator. So the reports say Crooks had a detonator on his person or in his backpack, and his car or van had explosives or fireworks. There's been the narrative that's been kind of passing around. So which is it, fireworks or explosives?
Thank you. And which place is it in?
Right. And if explosives, why was there no bomb squad?
Absolutely.
And there's no footage that I have seen that indicates that there was a bomb squad present. And you've got people filming from all, personal stuff. Everything's going on to social media like gangbusters. To me, that's a basic protocol.
Absolutely. I don't think that, well, just imagine, forget the important stuff. Well, what about just the litigation if something went wrong? Because you didn't follow protocol and something blew up and 50 civilians were died or injured, and you didn't even bother to call the bomb squad. They'll call the bomb squad or a hazmat squad now if they even think there's anything out of the ordinary there.
Let's see. What is Roy asking? Secret Service is always in charge when it comes to a protected individual, no matter who is senior on the scene. I believe that's true. I did not get around to pulling up that protocol on who makes that decision, but I do believe that is true. As far as I know,
didn't appear to be in charge. They may have been on paper, but it didn't appear to be they were on charge as far as following through with anything.
Right.
At least from what we know now.
Let's see. Let me go back. So I'll go back to, let's talk about the complaints. Okay. So, what's the story with the local FBI field office? According to reports from Senator Hawley of Missouri, a whistleblower has made claims of repeated complaints about the Secret Service lead agent from Pittsburgh for almost a year. Complaints like she, because it's not identifying whether it's male or female. We don't know. We don't have a name. We don't know who this person is. Complaints like she is lazy and repeatedly breaks protocol. Multiple complaints within the organization, and even reports of retaliation. So who is this person? We don't know that.
That should have been something their website shows it's a guy named Kevin Rojek, R-O-J-E-K. He's the SAC, the agent in charge. Now that may have changed. That may have changed since this happened. But he's in charge of the 25 counties in Western Pennsylvania and all of West Virginia.
So do we have any history on this guy? Did they have like a little resume posted?
Let me see. Oh,
I'm sorry. This is not the FBI field office. I mean the Secret Service.
Okay. Let me go there. They probably scrubbed his.
I didn't see anything about anybody at the field offices, but you can see like the main headquarters, the people, their bios and whatnot. Good morning, Zach. Glad you have your pants on. It's good.
Well, now what's interesting is I believe you said that they've been having whistleblowers for more than a year.
No, the whistleblower stated that there has been complaints for almost a year. This is based off of Senator Hawley's his reports. If you can get,
right.
I mean, I could pull it up, but I mean, it's just a piece of paper with a lot of words on it. That's basically what it says. Multiple complaints, and definitely the breaks in protocol. And there was the comments about retaliation. So I'm wondering, if you wear down the team with breaking protocol, can you set an ideal situation for a planned accident? Uh-oh. Lost Roy for a second there. There he is. Lost you for a minute. Does that make it to where people are used to protocol being broken if you continue to do it? I mean, if we're going to look at it from a long game perspective.
Yes. Well, there obviously are some ongoing issues there. And here's one of the interesting things too. When they chose to have the rally in Butler, it was election strategy specific. In 2020, if I remember correctly, former President Trump tallied about 66% of the vote, and the one who was running against him was only 33%, Biden. And then Shapiro and Fetterman were both elected, and it eroded some of the support in that Western Pennsylvania area. So they saw Western Pennsylvania as the key to winning the state of Pennsylvania. So they focused there as their big rally in a place they did have a stronghold, trying to build on that going into the RNC just 2 days later. So that was the reason that he was there. And it was announced long enough ahead that you could have moved any number of people around, good and bad, to respond to that. And when they knew where it was, when they announced where it was going to be, anyone, and those two young men that are supposedly persons of interest here, would have known where that was and the possibilities.
It's an awfully long game. And my question goes back to, you're just going to wait and see if Trump runs? That seems like a long time to plan for something that you don't know will happen. So then that makes me question, did it matter who?
Yeah.
Maybe it's not Trump specific.
That's a good question. Well, and then if you step back and look at the entire picture, at the point of the rally, we have two committed people, one Democratic, one Republican, pursuing the presidency. Okay, so was there part of a plan that if the former president is either killed, disabled, or decides not to run, it turns him into a basket case, whatever happens, then the sitting president remains, continues into office, is either replaced somewhere after election or further down the line, or because one of the problems is this day, on a certain day, the sitting president, everybody's saying, you people don't know him. You don't see him. He's cognizant. He's in control. He knows exactly what he's doing. And the next day he doesn't. Well, that's a credibility issue to begin with. Regardless of who you are, you would have to say that. So was this part of a cohesive plan? Here's the real problem for me. If you go back to the assassinations, all the way back to Lincoln, where do we go first when we start looking for the why? It's always a lone nut or a crazy guy. Okay, right? That's
but
where
we always
go.
present one, don't we?
Yeah, we always have one. And so here's the thing. If the Secret Service would have responded within 24 hours and said, this was our fault. We did this, and this wrong. This is why this nut was able to penetrate our perimeter and security net, because we failed in these areas. Then more people would have been likely to say, well, guess what? We know why. Any kind of person could have got in there. But what did they do? They didn't do that. So they gave us the impression, whether or not it's accurate or not, that there's a bunch of stuff that they don't want us to know. I think if they'd have stepped up to the plate and said, okay, this guy's fired, this lady's fired, these people are removed, this is what we did wrong, it's our fault.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Even if they would have said, as even if they said, going back to the JFK thing, there was a lot of traffic information that was coming up on JFK about it. Of course, there always is, right? We don't ever know the full amount of people that are putting out threats, false threats, whatever goes on.
Yes.
But when you got one like this, if they would have said, hey, we picked up some traffic around this Uric or crooks or whoever, right? And we blew it.
Yes, agreed.
We blew it. This got through the perimeter. We just had to make a judgment call. We didn't think it was valid. We thought there was no way. Blah blah blah. We assumed somebody else had it covered. Whatever it is, that would have been a really good opportunity to clean this up. And maybe that's something they don't want us to know for reasons of to know how bad the security actually is, or how
Right.
easy it is to penetrate, or to how easy it is to rattle and confuse and cause misdirection plays. Maybe there's a legit reason why, because this was pretty, I would say, well, it was shocking, right? Like we weren't expecting something like this nowadays in broad daylight in this kind of situation nowadays after all the stuff that's going on. I mean, of course, it's impossible to protect anybody 100%. Impossible.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true. Well, just the problem could have been, I think it would have been even more, they could have dumped it all on themselves, because law enforcement finds out, hey, there's somebody, we don't know what he's doing. He's on the roof. All of these civilians knew it a long time before the shots were ever taken. And we have really poor explanations as to why they didn't do something. For example, if there is a possible threat, we know that the protocol of the Secret Service is to get the person they are protecting out of there.
Right.
Don't give them a chance. It's prevention. We don't know who's up there. We just know he's not authorized. So let's get him out of there. That's a standard thing. They remove people they're protecting all the time for much less of a threat. But then the local law enforcement, they didn't say, hey, well, in the vehicles, they should have released that information. Here's the license plate. Here's what the registration says it is. They should
Oh,
have.
hell yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then the explosives and fire department, the explosives and fireworks, those are pretty big different.
Right. Well, anybody calls in a bomb threat to even a library, city blocks are cleared. It makes no sense to me that if you think that there's explosives on site, why they didn't call in the bomb squad, or at least.
Absolutely. You could.
I know they were trying to get people out of there, but I don't feel like it was in a manner in which they were like, this is a bomb situation.
Well, they would have called the bomb squad, because it would have taken X number of minutes for them to respond. Probably they don't have one. They probably have a SWAT team in Butler County. They probably do not have a specific bomb squad. So it might have even had to come from Pittsburgh, whether they took a rotary wing in or they, came by one of their vehicles. It's going to take minutes to get there. But you didn't see law enforcement pushing people outside of what they would consider their minimum protective perimeter for such an explosion. Was it 100 yards, 200 yards? They were telling them to get out of there, but they weren't acting like they were concerned about the explosives.
Right.
And
right.
Then just simply not answering the question, okay, this vehicle, this year, registered to this person with this license plate. That's simple stuff.
Right.
And matter of fact, it really bothers me that the local media people who have been there a long time and embedded with these couldn't find out those and get them out in the open.
Yeah, because then you get, with a coverage like this, you're going to get, you'll get inundated with tips, I would expect. Now that can be a problem, because you get a lot of stuff with all the, wackies coming out of the woodwork. But my God, if we actually know what we're looking for in this stuff, we could certainly have people identifying, who they knew with that van or what have you, because you have the nation's attention. Let's use it.
Well, that information about the white van being similar to something that Uric possessed or was driving, known to drive, that came out fairly fast. And I don't think that came out from official sources. But, it didn't take much to confirm it.
Right.
But we're not hearing anything from the actual, people supposedly in charge.
Well, do you think anybody else is going to get indicted? Or anybody's going to get indicted on this?
Well, you'd have to have suspects.
Yeah.
And, Uric is missing. Hooper is a ghost. I mean, he just doesn't exist anywhere.
No.
I mean,
He's a bothersome character.
yeah.
So what?
He's a bothersome character. His on his Facebook, he appears to be all over the lower 48, Canada, Alaska, and he is seen riding the rails a lot. But all of the pictures, you can actually clearly see his face. His pupils are clear. They're the same size. There's no distortion. He has some pictures with his shirt taken off. He's obviously thin, but he's fit. There is no visible signs of intravenous drug use, not anything on the outside. You could see where he was, a junkie just riding the rails as an existent person. You look at his fingernails, and while they have pictures of him being in what would be considered homeless situations, he doesn't look dirty. He doesn't look like, look at that picture right there. So you're looking at a guy who looks cohesive, put together. Even the overalls he's wearing and the shirt, they don't look raggedy. They don't look dirty. They look well kept. And then some of the pictures that he has on there. And then he has a picture of a girlfriend, friend, we don't know. And on her bookshelf, she has an eclectic collection of books, which are odd. One of them's anorexic. I could read that on anorexia. One of them's on codependence. One of them is on what's called green witchcraft, how to use plants and other natural things, I suppose, as herbs.
I'm trying to find that. I didn't see that one.
It's her. It's quite a ways down in the picture thing. I got onto the photos and just scrolled all the way through it. But anyway, it's just some odd things for this guy to appear in this. Why is he even in this? And then who is he? And of course, the other guy's missing. Now, if you want to go completely to the end, well, he'll be missing for eternity because he's in a river somewhere or a well or something. Or maybe he didn't even exist. He was created and now he's somewhere else.
Right. Yeah. And guys, this is Kenan Hooper, which his Facebook page is Shay Hooper. He's as off the grid as you can get.
Absolutely.
It seems very odd that this has not been scrubbed. Is this because they don't want it scrubbed?
It's really weird that it's intact. Absolutely. Because you couldn't look at, or at least in my opinion, you couldn't look at this collection of pictures and draw the kind of conclusion that this guy is so out of it that he couldn't do anything, or that he's crazy, that he has mental health issues. You couldn't draw those conclusions.
Mm-mm. No.
And here's another thing. Now, I don't know how it is in every part of the country, but in the parts of the country I'm familiar with, the railroads don't like you riding their units. And it's less about, the old heyday of the hobo than it is the liability. They're afraid if you get on their thing and you fall off or you get injured, you will sue them. But certainly if you die, your family will sue them because everything is litigious nowadays.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think that's another common thread between he and Uric, that they're known to be train hoppers. And that's how they claim to get around the country as much as they did. They've been everywhere, man. Really everywhere.
Yes, they have.
Well, train hoppers is a real old school thing. So what's, I haven't even heard of anybody being a train hopper these days.
Right.
No.
Right.
Yeah, it's just really weird.
Oh.
Yeah. What's that stuff in the background of this picture with this guy?
Let me see if I can open it in a new tab to get in a little closer.
Well, it looks like it's in a kitchen area because some of the stuff on the very top shelf looks like there might be sugar and oil maybe some salt. Those kind of look like band insignias.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Right.
maybe
That's what
9 Inch Nails. There's one that looks like it might be the Animals.
there's looks like some tinctures, spices and stuff.
Yes.
Sweatshirt. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. He's just an oddball. He's an odd character to me. And the fact that he cannot be found anywhere. His last
Right.
post was
Wait, whoa. So that his cover photo is Free Palestine.
oh yeah.
Wow.
Well, and that's one thing about both of these guys is it seems like that, to me, in my personal opinion, they're paid disruptors. Whether it's Antifa, whether it's Palestine, Ukraine, they're involved in all of it.
Yes.
So to me, that's an agitator of some sort.
What's the last?
His last post was August 5th, but what he was sharing doesn't exist.
August 5th.
Mm-hmm. And then before that, it was April 7th.
Well, yeah. So then is the question: is the August 5th one legit?
That I don't know. Let's see if we can see the comments because maybe those have something. Train from Aunt Laura, stop by anytime. Everybody wants to know where your boy is. Tell him there's a reward for proof of life, $1,000 cash.
When was that?
That was posted a week ago. Yeah, then the last time we saw your boy was on the roof in Butler, PA. Is Max okay?
Did you see the picture of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people standing? What looks like me to be a homemade target range, all holding weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See that? That's either an AK-47 or a knockoff. A Mauser in the background, and the guy's holding it up. And then the tall blonde-headed person that's holding the black sniper rifle with the scope on it. The rest of them don't look like they know what the crap they're doing with it. But the guy or gal who's holding that black rifle, that's a serious weapon. I mean, all of them, if they're what they are, could do damage. That's not what I meant. But the other ones look more like poses.
Mm-hmm. It's from 2021. Yeah. Happy birthday, Jam. So I don't know whose birthday it is, but we might want to take a note of that birthday.
Yeah, this looks like an old gravel pit of some kind.
Yes, it does.
And the trees, are those evergreens back there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pacific Northwest.
Yes, I would agree. Pacific Northwest.
But it feels like, yeah.
I mean, just trains everywhere they go. There's trains. So if anybody wants to hop on a train and see if they can track these guys down, let us know. But so I just found this fascinating because, Hooper's been so elusive to us, or at least to me so far. But this was just a random post that I stumbled across that mentioned that his name was Shay on social media. And that takes me back to, there's a case detail. Hang on, let me share this screen too.
Is this the same? This is the same guy, but was posted under the other name.
This is Kenan Hooper.
Yeah, but there was a girlfriend, right? That supposedly posted up something.
Mia Copia.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's another pickle for me too. Maybe we can get back to that. So this popped up. So this is for a Shay Michael Hooper, and it looks like it's in Maricopa County. I don't know, filed in 2019. That's all I could get on that one.
State the Shay Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
So which name is the real name? I mean, the guy that was put in jail for the assault with Uric was Kenan Hooper.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of where I landed on him. You know, Maxwell's been missing since the day of he was reported a missing person by his family in Arizona. However, there is no record of him being a missing person anywhere.
So we got a comment about from Roy about his
son-in-law,
hunter sniper.
And so he thinks cover up all the way.
But
I don't think you could find any other thing to exactly hold a position on except that at this moment, unless they do a lot better job of telling us what really happened. Everything that we look is terrible.
Right.
Okay. So approximately how old was this Cooper? Do we know that?
I saw reports that they're in their 30s.
Okay.
But I don't have an exact, just roughly like mid 30s. He and Maxwell both, which they don't look like they're in their mid 30s to me at all.
You think they're older than that or younger than that?
They appear, they appear younger than that to me, maybe late 20s. I just don't know.
Huh. And nobody, to your knowledge, has mentioned anything on fingerprints or other DNA evidence they could have actually traced to someone?
Yeah.
Okay, so how weird is it if there is no fingerprints or DNA? We have two vehicles that now have no forensic evidence on them, which means they've been professionally cleaned. So what we know about Mr. Crooks is that he's not the kind of guy that looks like he knew how to professionally clean two vehicles or even just one. I mean, really, his whole thing was just sloppy. If just one person would have done their job, he would have been at least, if not eliminated, at least isolated.
Are you saying there is no evidence, or they just haven't released any evidence of it?
They haven't released it, nor
Right.
have they have any. That doesn't mean that there's not, but would have been one of the things? We have this, we're able to identify certain people who are, what's their favorite phrase now? Persons of interest.
Right.
But their people of interest have all disappeared.
Well, or didn't exist. That that's the thing. It was Cheadle who said that there was 3 people of interest or 3 suspicious people. They have not released to us who the others were, whether they were detained. We have that picture of the one guy that looks a lot like either Max or Kenan, because they kind of, resemble each other.
Right.
But there's no follow-up on any confirmation as to who that is. I did start and some of this is all speculation, so I will, just pull up what I've found. Is it? And this is really hard to see, so I don't know if you'll be able to tell. So this is the police officer putting somebody in handcuffs here. but there's no word as to, I don't know if that's any better for anybody to see, lay eyes on.
Okay, is
I don't
that the
know.
guy? Is that the guy that was in the one video who was just really acting up and acting weird?
I don't think it is.
Okay.
Now, the other guy that was acting weird, that's the guy that belonged to the bicycle.
Yeah.
But this is somebody posted this picture of a police officer putting this guy in handcuffs.
That looks a lot like Hooper.
It looks a lot like Hooper.
Did the guy with the bicycle, did it look like the bicycle that Hooper has on his Facebook? He has several.
No, it was white.
Okay.
I know I'm stuck in a weird thing. Okay. I thought I had more than this. Where's my drive? Okay, that's better. Are we seeing this still? Okay. Let's see. This was a picture somebody submitted. Blurry as all get out.
White shorts.
White shorts.
Yep.
It's the white shorts guy who shows up. Oh, oops. Here again.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
And there's some more. Now
That looks like Hooper to me.
right. Who is this guy?
But white shorts is white shorts. Crooks is wearing white shorts too. But that's not Crooks.
Was he wearing khaki shorts or white shorts?
Well, I don't know. They were pale, light colored.
Yeah, but this guy just has no problem walking right through. I mean, every section of law enforcement was in that building at that time.
Right. So it makes you wonder if he was, known to them.
Yeah. See, there's Crooks. I mean, I don't know. I guess those could be white, light gray, light khaki. I'm not sure. Where was the other? I thought I saw another picture. No, I guess it was that one. So that's where I am with Hooper, and Maxwell's just kind of still. He's just missing. I don't know. No activity whatsoever. Okay. Doing here. Pictures. So here, another thing I wanted to point out was in that body cam of one of the police officer that was popping up on the roof.
Yeah.
He said that he had his backpack next to him. But here's the backpack there, and here's Crooks. And here's his weapon.
Crooks in the circle there, and the backpack's to the right. Up
This area is
the backpack.
right.
Yeah. That's a long ways away.
So was he this close to his backpack when he popped up? And that's why the guy was like, whoa, I got to get out. Like, that would have been really close. I would have been scared. And then he inched up to get to the shop, to get there. That's a lot of pressure for a 20-year-old to be under, facing law enforcement, turning around, positioning yourself, and then pulling off some shots. My personal opinion. Pretty ballsy. So I think that's basically what I have on, what we're starting to learn as proof, that I can verify that we're seeing. We lost Roy again. Sorry about that, Roy. I didn't know you fell off.
That's all right. What bothers me about the picture you just had up there is how far the weapon is from the body.
You want me to share it again?
The weapon is several of those panel ridges away.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, at least 3. They look to be 12 inches or probably 18 inches. That's 6 foot or more from the body. If he's a right-handed shooter, which as far as we know he was, and a round hits him, it wouldn't have gone 6 foot the other way.
Yeah, I don't know when this photograph was taken. This could have been after people were already up there.
It's possible that they cleared the weapon, but why would you clear it to the opposite side of the body? If you were picking it up and clearing it, you would have cleared it from shooter's side, so it would have been to his right side, maybe that far away or further. It's just odd. There may be a plausible explanation, but the backpack is too far away. And here's another thing. All right, supposedly he used this ridge cap line of the roof as a resting place for his weapon, right? Shooters don't use hard surfaces because of the problems after your first round, and maybe even with your first round, because it causes the wrong kind of vibrations. With this backpack, that's what a trained shooter would have done. And anybody who knows much about weapons, apparently this guy did before this. So the backpack would have been there for him to rest his weapon on. There's a bunch of questions about that picture. Like I said, there may be a plausible explanation, but that's something they could have come out with. This is here, and here's the reason it's there, but they haven't. I found
the body cam of who got up there first and, clearing the scene would have been, may answer all of those questions.
Absolutely. I've got a Shay Michael Hooper in Peoria, Arizona, 31 years of age, who is a registered pharmacy tech. Yeah. And he has
Renaissance man.
On 2019, he was arrested in Arizona for no valid driver's license, failure to produce evidence of financial responsibility, driving on a suspended license, metered parking violation, no legible driver's license, HOV lane without 2 reasonable. I mean, it's a whole list of stuff.
So he's a pharmaceutical tech?
That's what it says. And he has some addresses in and around Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Some contact people. All of them are in Arizona except one, and that person's in Chicago, Illinois.
Well, we know they were in Chicago as well, so that's interesting. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how to explain the pharmaceutical tech.
I don't either.
But
because
apparently kind of a naughty pharmaceutical tech.
Well, I mean, just not compliant with general traffic laws and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see any weapons charges or any drug charges or anything like that. Now he does have 2 that it doesn't have complete listings on. That one was in 2019. There's one that was goes back further, 2011. Looks like it was a motor vehicle thing.
Nothing that would make you go on the run.
No, absolutely not. Matter of fact, to be real honest, that one that I just read to you, the latest one in 2019, has a weird ring to it because it's all of this junk. Okay, no valid driver's license. While that's a violation, I mean, it's not a felony. It's not going to, you're not going to put you in prison immediately. None of this stuff is. So this looks more like a created, I'm just irresponsible. I don't keep up with anything. I'm just, your run-of-the-mill wandering loser type thing. This looks like a created persona.
And what the heck is a pharmaceutical tech?
I believe it'd be the people that assist with the pharmacy, like, there's the main pharmacist who, kind of make sure everything is right. But then you've got people who assist in gathering and sorting and whatnot.
They're usually the one, if you go to the pharmacist, that you have to pick your medications up from, and will take your payment or your insurance card or whatever.
So they're called a pharmaceutical tech as opposed to just a pharmacy tech?
Now, you know what?
I
That
don't
may
know.
be a
I don't know for
distinction.
sure.
So you're thinking he may actually work in a pharmaceutical company.
Don't know. I mean, that's what.
Yeah, that's a possible. That's a possibility. Because we normally think of them as people that we would actually see, but you are absolutely correct. Because they would have pharmaceutical technologists working in drug companies to do all of the, well, let's sort of look at them like a nurse and a doctor. The nurses do all of the work, and the doctor comes in and makes, his diagnosis.
Right.
So you're right, Mark. That's a good idea. I'll make a note of that.
So I want to, we can dig into him a little bit more down the road, but I'm trying to figure out the things that we do know. And the other thing that has come to light was with the body cam, we've got, so the report from local law enforcement about the planning, complaints of the protocols being skipped or ignored, additional help rejected, drones, etc. And we saw the local law enforcement assemble for that news conference that they put out, where they wanted to let everybody know that they were not assigned to the roof of that building. And in fact, there's body cam footage of one of the police officers saying, I told those guys they needed to have somebody on this building. I told them. And I think he said on Tuesday. So that was the Tuesday before the rally. So there's acknowledgement from law enforcement that this particular building was significant to them.
Right.
It was ignored. Secret Service no-showed the day before the rally. No background checks on volunteers. No IDs being checked. Anybody could have come through there. So we know that that's true. They did not show up the day before. And then you've had, 45 minutes before, you've got them starting to be notified of suspicious people. So something didn't work. And then local law enforcement also said that they called command, which was in a shed. Oh gosh, do I have that picture? I don't know that I have that picture of the grounds. It was, towards the back away from the stage. And nobody answered the phone.
Yeah.
So
who
landline?
Yeah.
How many people would it had taken to just simply man the comm station? 1, 2?
One.
Yeah.
It only takes one. So
and they don't have somebody to answer the phone.
Right. So that takes me, back to, one, the protocols, and two, who's in charge of making sure they have enough people on the ground. Well, that takes us to our favorite new acting director, Ronald Rowe, which Ronald Rowe is former Navy, started in Secret Service in 1999 for Clinton. Spent time on counter-espionage in the counter-espionage sector. He just graduated with a postgraduate degree in criminal justice in, I think, 2018, and has slowly moved his way up the ranks in the Secret Service. And in these whistleblower reports, Director Rowe is the one who has been reducing the manpower in Trump's team. Even cutbacks in the coverage of Trump specifically. So that's all whistleblower information.
I wonder who's advising Biden not to cover RFK for all those periods of times, if anybody, or it was just him.
I'm wondering if anybody bothered to tell him anything.
Yeah.
I mean, why would you? It would just distract him from the other stuff he can't remember. Sorry.
Well, I know
But-
I was seeing a lot of stuff from Bobby Kennedy's campaign trying to get coverage for this, which didn't happen until after this occurred. And I don't know any details about what's happening now, but I know that it was kind of ridiculous that,
Yeah.
that was kind of ridiculous. Wasn't aware that there were deficiencies in Trump's thing as well.
Apparently, according to Trump's team, they said that they were denied extra people, and so you've got this, threat from Iran that they were supposed to be concerned about, right? And they still reduced his team, and that gets interesting to me too, because funny thing about this threat, they arrested the Pakistani on 7/12 in New York. So that was too soon for them to change the detail. It wasn't like they could say, "Oh, we had already neutralized that issue because he's under arrest."
They arrested the Pakistani guy or the
The
Iranian guy?
Pakistani guy. Well, he was working for Iran. Let me see if I can get this to open. It's New York Times. They love to block me all the time. Okay, let me share this with you. This was the guy that they said was involved in. Well, that's me. Where? Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. Justice Department charges Pakistani man in alleged plot to kill U.S. leaders. And it also included Donald Trump. So that was, let's see. This is the man, Asif Raza Merchant, 46, was arrested in New York on July 12th, one day before a 20-year-old man, Matthew Crooks, shot and slightly wounded Mr. Trump during, I love the New York Times. I mean, they just, wow. During a rally in Pennsylvania, according to a complaint unsealed in federal court in Brooklyn on Tuesday. So this guy had traveled from Texas to New York, and then he was trying to get people. He was basically trying to hire people.
This looks like this is some stupid looking stuff.
Yeah.
Was arranged in a far-ranging plot that also included seeking to steal computer files from U.S. officials.
Oh yeah.
What, they just send some random guy into the country to go kind of do that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was putting, I think he was, placing ads or asking people to help him. Let's see, he flew from Pakistan to the U.S. to recruit hitmen to carry out his scheme. He said that the tradecraft and operational security measures employed by Mr. Merchant were consistent with actions of someone plotting on behalf of a foreign adversary.
Of course.
Let's see. There's the why. So they'd been investigating him for weeks prior to them arresting him as he attempted to leave the country from New York. Details of the case to other federal agencies, including Secret Service and Representative Michael R. Turner, Republican of Ohio, Intelligence Committee, blah, blah, blah. Let's see, Mr. Trump Turner said, is even more outrageous because they were aware of the potential threat and did not take sufficient steps to safeguard the former president. It's true. It's absolutely true.
Yep.
Let's see. He traveled from Texas to New York to visit that person and laid out a scheme that included targeted assassinations of people who are hurting Pakistan and the Muslim world. So, I mean, it gets wilder. He had some code words he was using. Let me see. He specified he wasn't targeting normal people. Okay. Let's see if I can get down to, here we go. At one point, Mr. Merchant, a slim man with a closed cropped salt and pepper beard, grabbed a napkin and scrawled out a code for their future interactions based on his cover as a textile broker. T-shirt would be in order to organize counter protests at political rallies. Flannel shirt meant stealing and fleece jacket was code for assassination.
Oh, please.
This sounds like a B movie script.
Right? Come on. Come on.
I thought you guys would like that.
That's really good. I mean, that's even better than what kind of pizza they're ordering.
I mean,
So,
Wow.
that all of that combined, if there was the Iran threat from Iran, and now it's blamed on this guy from Pakistan, that's not a reason to drop security. It's too soon. It's too soon.
No, it's if anything, if this is a reason to increase security.
So that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've still got a few question marks on that, but I do think, hearing from the whistleblowers is probably going to be one of our best insights into what's really going on. And, and I do really enjoy, so it's a win for me to get to watch Holly on these hearings, because he's just a hoot.
Now, if I heard you correctly, did you say Acting Director Rowe was Navy?
Yeah, he's former Navy. Aren't they always former Navy?
I can't find it. Now, O&I figures often in these things, Office of Naval Intelligence, but I can't find anything in online listings that mentions anything prior to, at least up to now, prior to 1994 when he graduated from University of Maryland. And then in 95, he went to work for West Palm Beach. In 99, he joined the Secret Service. By 2004, he was on the Presidential Protection. And by 2008, he was on the staff of the United States Senate's Committee of Judiciary. And after that, all of his assignments are bean counter stuff. Pretty fast track to the top.
It's on the Secret Service website.
Okay.
Under his bio.
All right.
Talks about him being Navy.
I was wondering what part of the Navy he was in. Was he surface warfare, submariner, something else?
I didn't note it. I'm sorry.
No, that's not your fault. It was just curiosity. It may mean nothing. But
it always means something.
Listen, throughout our stuff in a bunch of other areas, when O&I pops up, it's never just coincidence.
Right. Well, I mean, it's like if you look at Henry Wade, former military, former FBI. I think there was another prosecutor that was former military, former FBI. And then there was also somebody on the police force, or an investigator was also, former military, former FBI, all being placed in Dallas. It's very interesting.
Yes, it is.
So that's what I came up with. If you guys have anything else that you would like to share, I'm happy to pull it up. I think I covered everything.
I would just love to hear some of the unanswered questions answered. They may have plausible explanations. I mean, it may be one of those things that they talk about. It's just, hey, we're going to create a truth here. Whether or not it's the truth and they expose it, we're just going to keep standing on it. You expose it, and then they just keep saying, hey, this is what the truth is, whether or not it is or not.
Right.
And I think, as Mark mentioned about the vehicles, that'd be one of the most simple things that they could do to allay suspicion that this just wasn't something created. They could release who it's registered to, and then explosives or fireworks. Those are, that's apples and lug nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Unless the whole van was packed with fireworks, and then, it'd be dangerous, but the perimeter for that kind of explosion might be 50 yards. It wouldn't be like it was an actual C4 military explosives. Was it an IED? Did they actually put something together? Mm-hmm. Or even like the one that was detonated recently by the Ukrainian armed forces, or reportedly where they took an old Toyota hydrogen car that had been wrecked and created a hydrogen bomb that they just used here in the past few days. But they've given us nothing. So,
Well, I just find it interesting that they towed the van off without, you know, really any indication that they had searched it. Why that one? Out of all the vehicles that were there, why that one?
yes, ma'am. And the 3 people that are unidentified that they supposedly were persons of interest, in kind of a, I don't know, it's an odd kind of humor, but I'm wondering why, if they were innocent, that we haven't already had somebody file a lawsuit against them. People file a lawsuit for everything nowadays. If you were falsely arrested and a former president had just been shot, don't you know you'd be filing a lawsuit? Defamation of character, whatever went along with that.
Well, I mean,
If
maybe
not,
that's why they haven't released the names too, is because then they can't do that
maybe
if you don't
not.
release the names. I mean, maybe you can. I don't know. I don't know. Did
I don't
they
know either.
scare them? Were they really, or were they that scared by the interrogation?
I just found it really peculiar, funny that we have 3 and then we go all the way back to 63 and we have the same 3, number 3, and
Right.
they're not really identified. Peculiarities seem to run in some of these things.
No, it is funny, and I am finding those pinpoints of information. I would like to dig into the, kind of analyze some of the water tower information with people yelling that there's somebody on top. I mean, are they yelling about the building? Are they yelling about the water tower?
Right.
There is that video that will forever be in infamy until somebody explains it or comes forward and says, it was me, I was up there, I was just being silly, because you can see the shadow and they're always going to think that that's somebody on top of the water tower. I mean, that's just how we are. We're always going to have that. It's like the umbrella man.
Certainly. What about the explanation of the no drone coverage? Crooks reportedly was there, had his own drone up, and then on the day the president is there is no drone coverage.
Mm-hmm. Well, and they said that he was live streaming his drone.
Yeah.
Live streaming it where?
And why didn't they pick that up? They should have had bots looking for stuff like that anyway. We know they analyze everything that we've got.
Right.
And certainly if you were a person of interest in that area, I would have expected that, let's say, mile and a half radius, that anything coming out of there, they would have targeted.
Really good question, Roz, about if he's live streaming it, for who?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, is that to get directions? Is that to, really check the better spots?
Or inform somebody else what's going on. I mean, it's part of.
Yeah, or try to figure out how to get on that building because he was told that, nobody's going to be up there. You don't have to worry about it. Maybe that's why he was wandering around looking, trying to figure out which building was the right building.
Well, to me, just as an amateur in this, a single guy up there trying to do all this stuff has got already an awful lot to keep track of. Without trying to track and process, even more information that's coming into him because he's dealing with so much. This just kind of cries out to, for what reason was this going on, and who else was party to this? Yeah.
Well, again, I think we discussed this in the chat. If you're planning this, do you really leave it up to a 20-year-old kid?
Well, as a if you're trying to make it work, no.
Right.
If you're trying to wreak havoc and unscramble shit around for people, why not? But if it's a serious attempt, no. That would not be the only one you would play.
Right.
Yeah.
And so there you get your patsy, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, there's a whole bunch of questions. Here's a guy wandering around, supposedly even carries backpack, weapon, and they gave this pitiful example of, okay, well, the weapon folds down so you could fit it into a backpack. If you're a police officer in a very high visibility target protection level, wouldn't you be suspicious of everyone who enters your perimeter? At least until you could say, and absolutely anyone carrying a bag or a backpack.
Oh, you don't get into it. You don't get into a minor league sporting event or concert carrying a backpack these days.
No, absolutely not. The last one we went to, you have to carry the little clear plastic bag, and it was a minor league game. I mean, they're treating you like you're about to go into a high, protected area just at a ball game, and yet he's walking around out there with a backpack, and evidently it's full of something, or at least it looks that way.
Yeah, it's pretty full in that picture.
Have we seen any? Sorry, Roz. Have we seen any index or table of contents or categorization of what was actually in there?
No.
Well, come on.
I mean, I can't even get the story straight whether the detonator was on his person or in the backpack. I mean, I can't get that, but they do show a device on the roof at some point. So I don't know. I mean, was he just, here, I'll just put that right there. I mean, it seems weird.
Was it a detonator? Or was it something he was using to operate the drone with, or something else? I don't know enough to know even.
It didn't look like a drone control. It's very slim. It almost looked like a remote control, almost like it was just very slim cylinder, kind of almost like a cell phone but smaller. But I don't know. I can't say that I've ever seen a detonator, so I don't know that I know that that's what it was.
Roy's probably seen one on TV.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, there's so much weird stuff because you can call it a detonator, and it may have been one, and it may have been something else that it to whomever saw it first looked like a detonator. Mm-hmm. That's why I'd like to know what the components were. Was it a homemade one? Did if he got some sort of explosives, where'd they come from? They can trace that stuff. Was it stolen from either some police officer's evidence, or was it ex-military somewhere? Where did it come from? What kind of explosive was it?
Well, supposedly he was ordering all kinds of chemical supplies to his house because his dad thought he was interested in science.
Yeah. Well, here's another thing. What are the odds that the guy who ends up dead on the roof, who allegedly shot 8 rounds at the former president, has appeared in a BlackRock video, within the last 2 or 3 years? What are the odds that happens? That's just too much coincidence for me to even go there.
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid that one.
That's so much coincidence that it maybe is real.
Well, I mean, he was obviously going to a smaller school. Apparently, they sponsored it was a program that was offered at the school that was sponsored by BlackRock. It's sort of I don't know if it's some sort of indoctrination program or if it's just, some sort of social, or public assistance kind of program by the corporation. I don't know. But it's one of those where like, okay, I'm not going to go there. But I am concerned about the footage of this man in the blue T-shirt that came out with that story that he was the guy and blah, blah, blah. And everybody said that's not really him. Doesn't look anything like him. But this guy keeps popping up in pictures everywhere. I'm like, who is this guy? I'll see if I can find one. I mean, it's weird. It's just bizarre to me. And once you see it, you'll know who I'm talking about. But this guy. share. This guy. Ah, can't get it to. I don't know if I can get it to expand. This guy. You
He
recognize
looks very
him?
similar. Yeah, he looks very similar to Crooks.
Sure does.
Who is the
But
man
it's-
with?
I don't know. Why does he have a
It looks like
rifle?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's one that's popped up. Let me see.
Could be Photoshop too. But
Yeah, I tried to look at that. I mean, it's a weird, there's something weird going on here with this, how they're butted up to each other. You see
Yes.
that? I mean, that's an easy blend right there. Anybody could do that. But light source seems to be coming from the right direction, but there's something weird there. I don't get that.
Yeah, there's something weird where their shoulders join there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's a screen darker blue there too.
So this was a video. I don't think I was able to capture that one yet, but this guy, this is not Crooks,
no, it's not Crooks.
but it's the same guy from that other photo.
Huh. You could certainly mistake them for the same person if you weren't looking.
I mean, it's definitely that guy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's a weird one. I don't know who that is. I don't know how to identify him. I still don't trust this image at all.
No, it has some anomalies that would need to be explained. So why do we keep seeing
Oh,
the
see here,
picture?
here it is.
Yeah.
See,
Oh my God.
I don't think that's the same guy. I
The
mean, it's
ears appear
close.
to.
The jaw and the lip thing is sure looking.
Boy, they sure do. That's what I
But look
noticed.
The shape of this forehead is very round, and this one is slanted.
Well, the ear is wrong too.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
ears don't match, but I mean, it's the same guy. So who is this guy? Do
Yeah,
we need to
and
be worried about him?
Why
My
is he even in
goodness.
the picture?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not getting. There's no reference on.
No
The
source
connection.
where he first appeared?
Uh-uh.
Okay, weird.
Other than that video, where he's sitting in the car,
Right.
but it's the same guy.
Well,
Hmm.
Are you saying the guy on the left and the guy on the right are the same guy?
Yeah.
On your left picture.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's one we'll have to wait and see if something else
Yeah.
pops up, I guess. So that's kind of
Okay.
what I got together for this week. I tried to watch the hearings, but it's a lot to watch and try to connect dots through. But I kind of pulled out a few that I felt like were pertinent that we could kind of dig in a little bit and at least put the pins in the wall and start putting some strings up, connecting some dots. just a little bit. But that's it.
All
That's all I
right.
got.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you.
Yes, thank you.
Absolute.
We'll have
Absolutely.
some more stuff to dive into soon. It'd be nice to have something come up that's meaningful.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think they were saying, 60 to 90 days on reports. So it's going to be there's so much stuff distracting everybody from this that,
60 to 90 days to be running right into the election time.
right. Exactly.
Hmm.
I'm sure
Huh.
that. I'm sure that's.
Huh.
Yeah.
Huh. Right.
Right.
That in and
Right.
of itself is pretty bizarre.
So you
Yeah.
guys working on anything right now?
We're always working on stuff. We're working with a faith-based group in Louisiana called Rise St. James, who are working on toxic chemical plants in southern Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
And then our East Coast office is consulting with some environmental activist protesters who got arrested at the headquarters in New Jersey of Formosa Plastics. They're arresting peaceful protesters.
Oh.
So yeah. So anyway, there's always a little something going on that we're involved in. Most of it we can't
Okay.
really talk too much about, but
Right.
lots of good stuff is happening, and we're working on some. The Truth and Justice League stuff is working on some film projects that we should be able to announce pretty soon. Just wait for
Oh,
some.
fun.
Yeah.
I look forward to that.
All right.
All right.
That's all I got, guys. Thank you.
That's all
That's all I got.
Thank you, Miss
Bye,
Rod.
guys.
All right. Bye.
Bye. All right. I guess goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Oh no. The motorcade sped on.